Thanks for tuning in to the Mysores Gospel Reggae Show. If you like this program, don't forget to like it and share it. Hello, at the Mysores Gospel Reggae Show this, with the one Stevie Murphy and Coalition by so no keep it locked. Carry go bring come session.
Hey everybody, this is Pastor Marsha coming to tell you about the upcoming radio session, Pastor Help Me. This is a session for real talk, dealing with real issues and concerns from the hearts of the listeners. We're going to talk about kingdom principles and how do we have success in our everyday life. We need God. We can't do life without God. And I want to take the opportunity to hear from you, talk about the things that concerns you, putting God in the middle of all of that, so that you will walk good, overcome all your obstacles, and dominate in every area of your life. Come see me, join me, Mondays, 8 p.m. on the Mysores Gospel Reggae Show on YouTube and Facebook. See you Monday, 8 p.m. God bless.
19 King Street, Belize City comes alive. It's lit. Embark it turn over at Peter Rose House of Fashion. Peter Rose House of Fashion, a store with a difference. They've got all sizes, male, female, you name it, they've got it. They have you looking one of a kind at Peter Rose House of Fashion. Yo, my youth, we go down at Peter Rose House of Fashion. Peter Rose House of Fashion. It's lit. Embark it turn over. Store with a difference.
Lord, me thirsty, and nana juice time. Yeah, man. Refreshing. At Nana's Delight, everything is made with love. We have natural juices, specialty cakes, Jamaican cuisine, gift baskets, and floral arrangements. All products are made to order. You can contact us at 954-326-7365 or 352-233-1226. Only at Nana. Only at Nana. Where everything is made with love.
This is the Mysores Gospel Reggae Show.
Hey, I'm Stephen Murphy. Yeah. Well, I'm Mr. No.
Father, you are my source of living truth, the only king that I salute. Pull up the sack, put on the giddy and move, ready for round up all the truth. Father, you are my source of living truth, the only king that I salute. Pull up the sack, put on the giddy and move, ready for round up all the truth.
Well, I'm Mr. No, on the battlefield, yeah. Come to tell you about the king when me fall, la. So when me get up on the run round the place, no for them all.
I think I'm mad. Well, good evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is the Mysores Gospel Reggae Show. When it's in its Monday segment, the Pastor Marsha Paris, Pastor Help Me With, whatever you need help with. All right? And so, Murphus.
Good afternoon, good night, good morning, good evening, wherever you may be. It's a Mysores Gospel Reggae Show with the segment Pastor Help Me with Pastor Marsha Paris. All right, where we deal with real issues, applying kingdom principles, and so it's gonna be a nice topic. We're on the topic of side chicks a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
So Pastor Marsha will be on the topic of side chicks.
All right.
So stay tuned for that. Share the link. Let everybody know that Pastor Help Me is on with Pastor Marsha Paris.
Father, you are my source of living truth, the only king that I salute. Pull up the sack, put on the giddy and move, ready for round up all the truth.
Well, I'm Mr. No, on the battlefield, yeah. Come to tell you about the king when me fall, la. So when me get up on the run round the place, no for them all the things say me mad. Them never know, say that Jesus Christ, he is the best friend me ever have.
Want to say good night to Alexis Daniels. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to MC GP 23. So we're gonna play a couple songs. And in about 10 minutes, we'll have Pastor Marsha on live with Pastor Help Me. Alright, it's the sound of Stephen Murphy featuring Quelly Simba and Anonymous. Father, you are my source.
You keep me calm, me no know what me woulda do. The love when you give unconditional, you die for the sinner, man. You wanna know the son you choose. Constantly me give thanks and praise to the ancients of days for everything you do. Hey, I'm Stephen Murphy. Yeah, well I'm Mr. Na.
Yeah, man, the Holy Emmanuel, like King Jesus Christ, yeah, blessed Lord. The righteous cry out and the Lord hears, and delivers them from out of their troubles. The Lord is near to those who have broken hearts.
That concerns you. Putting God in.
That have a contrite spirit. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him out of them all. Blessed Lord. See that the fool says in his heart, there's no God. Wow. Boom. Anytime we need you, call on him, and he will be there. Anytime we need you, call on him, when your heart is aching. Anytime we need you, call on him, and he will be there. Anytime we need you, call on him, when your heart is aching. Anytime we need you, call on him, and he will be there. Anytime we need Jesus, hold on it, I know it's tough, and you know it's rough, and you're feeling like you really had enough. Seek him first, and you will know the kingdom of God. Oh, and all things shall be added on. Wow. Oh, now. So anytime your heart is down, I beg you call upon Jesus. Even though we ain't looking up, no silver line beyond the dark clouds, only pain and sorrows, wishing there's no tomorrow. Anytime we need.
Want to say good night to Joy Nelson, good afternoon. Good night to you. Stephanie Murphy, good night to you. Noel Blair, Gregory Cole, Shari Samuels, good night to you.
And he will be there. Anytime we need Jesus, call on him. Just make your way to the altar and make known that you falter. Now walk out cause the pastor, remember what they did to the master.
So in about another 7 minutes, we will be live with Pastor Marsha, with Pastor Help Me. Speaking about side chicks, so go ahead, share the link, share the broadcast, and invite everyone, and tell them to come on and join in. Want to say good night to Victoria Bell. Good night to
Alexis Daniels?
Yeah, I said Alexis.
Okay.
Good afternoon to Andrea Green. Good night to you. Ezra Hines, good night to you. Welcome to Pastor Help Me with Pastor Marsha. We want to say good night to Kwame Wilson. Good afternoon to you. Want to say good night to Smiley Almond. Good night to Helen Murphy. Good night to you. Them are rolling.
Yes, I watch them.
It's the sound of St. Matthew. Call on him. Up next, We've got the man called Positive, and this one is called Two Man Army. In about 5 minutes, we will have Pastor Marshall live right here on the My Source Gospel Reggae Show with the segment called Pastor Help Me.
This is the My Source Gospel Reggae Show.
Spiritually sound, some in our dilute. We've got to live pure. I wanna make my election sure. Yes, rolling in my two-man army, my Jesus and I know once God goes before me, they can't stop this ride. No, rolling in my two-man army, my Jesus and I know once God goes before me, they can't stop this ride. This gospel thing not pretty. Remember them chop off the head of John the Baptist in the city wall. And what they did to Stephen without reason. Was it because his words were seasoned? We've got to live right. It may cost us a lot, but in the end it will be worthwhile. I don't care if them hate me or them rate me. All of me will give God glory. Rolling in my two-man army, my Jesus and I know once God goes before me, they can't stop this ride. No, rolling in my two-man army, my Jesus and once God walks before I and I, they can't stop this ride. We're living in a war, physically, spiritually, mentally, practically, no. But the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. With that mighty, so give a little taste, a little of the gospel. None of that, I want all of it. Yes, give me a full course meal. Genesis to Revelation, my armor's complete. Rolling in my two-man army, my Jesus and I know once God goes before me, they can't stop this ride. No, rolling in my two-man army, my Jesus and once God walks before I and I, they can't stop this ride. Oh, Father, just you and I.
This is the My Source Gospel Reggae Show.
Lord, me thirsty, and nana juice time. Yeah, man. Refreshing. At Nana's Delight, everything is made with love. We have natural juices, specialty cakes, Jamaican cuisine, gift baskets, and floral arrangements. All products are made to order. You can contact us at 954-326-7365 or 352-233-1226. Only at Nana. Only at Nana. Where everything is made with love.
19 King Street, Belize City comes alive. It's lit. Embark it on over at Peter Rose House of Fashion. Peter Rose House of Fashion, a store with a difference. They've got all sizes, male, female, you name it, they've got it. They have you looking one of a kind at Peter Rose House of Fashion. Yo, my youth, me go down at Peter Rose House of Fashion. Peter Rose House of Fashion. It's lit. Embark it on over. Store with a difference.
Hey everybody, this is Pastor Marsha coming to tell you about the upcoming radio session, Pastor Help Me. This is a session for real talk, dealing with real issues and concerns from the hearts of the listeners. We're going to talk about kingdom principles and how do we have success in our everyday life. We need God, we can't do life without God, and I want to take the opportunity to hear from you, talk about the things that concerns you, putting God in the middle of all of that, so that you will walk good, overcome all your obstacles, and dominate in every area of your life. Come see me, join me Mondays, 8 p.m. on the My Source Gospel Reggae Show on YouTube and Facebook. See you Monday, 8 p.m. God bless.
Yes, that's right. And it's that time. It's Monday.
Yes, it is.
Right?
Monday night.
Where we have Pastor Help Me with Pastor Marsha Paris. Want to say good night to Ruth Smith.
Welcome, Ruth. Welcome.
Good night to you. Alrighty, Pastor Marsha, are you there?
I am here. Good night, everybody. So good to
Good
see
evening,
everybody.
Good night to you, Pastor. How are you doing?
Good night, Evangelist. Oh, good. Deacon?
Blessings, my dear pastor.
Oh, God. God is good. It's good to be here.
All right.
Yes, he is. So, Pastor, help me. We were on the topic of side chicks a couple weeks.
Yes.
So, Pastor Marsha, can you go ahead and let us know what you know, where you'll be taking it tonight? Are there?
Well,
go ahead.
What happened was it was very good. We had a good interactive opportunity to talk about side chicks, and just hearing what everyone was saying really grabbed my attention, and so I was compelled to call in. And from that opportunity, this one came about, and we wanted to continue talking about that, because these are some issues that people deal with all the time, and not all of these things do people talk about in the house, in the pulpit, or from the pulpit rather. And so I wanted to take the opportunity to be able to kind of delve in where people can ask questions.
Right.
Whatever it is, it's not just this, but this is the catalyst for this particular portion of the My Source Gospel Reggae Show.
Right.
So, you know, I just look forward to being able to have some candid conversations. I am not the everyday regular. I am just straight, undiluted, raw, speak what God say, and we know worry about nobody else after that. So
Okay.
that's what's going to happen. Every time you call in, every time you plug in with us, that's what you're going to get. And so I'm excited about tonight and being able to talk about side chicks and what is that and why people do it. And even the people you're listening, you can ask a question as well. It's interactive. Talk to us, and we'll talk back to you guys.
Okay.
Side chicks.
So you want me to go ahead?
So,
Yes.
Pastor, what
We gonna
is
start
what
you
is a
off,
side
Pastor.
chick?
Well, according to Uno,
Right.
a side chick is basically that other woman.
Yes.
It's that other woman.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to put it simply, that's what I would call it. That other woman. And a lot of times we find ourselves in compromising positions. Especially, it was all geared around married couples.
Right.
And it was focusing a lot on Christian couples. But overall, what is it that kind of makes marriages find themselves in these positions that husbands might feel like it's okay to go ahead and get a side chick or a wife doing the same thing? So we want to talk about, what that looks like and how we can kind of deviate away from the things that pull us away from God and focus more on how we can get him in the middle of it to help us to stay connected to him.
Yes.
So that we can do what he wants us to do and how he wants us to do it.
Okay.
All right, Pastor. From the conversation last week, one of the things that we were talking about was, and I thought I made it funny. I made it funny when I talked about the pumpkin pie.
Mm-hmm.
Right. My co-host and I discussed this at a break, and we were saying, well, what really caused a man to leave his home front and find someone on the side as it is to satisfy something that he could get at home. And and then I did say that maybe he's not getting the pumpkin pie. Maybe that's where the problem, some of the problem comes from, because, and not just that, there's other issues in the homes that that the man would like to see change that's not getting changed. And when he go to this other person, he can enjoy these changes. What you say about that? How we stave this off in a relationship so we can get rid of the side chick thing?
Well, I think the sin nature is always going to keep the side chick thing as an option. I think the need for us as human beings to fulfill a need, when we want a need, when we feel for something, when we want something, we always want what we want, and we want what we want when we want it. We like to feed our flesh. Whenever you don't get something, let's just say you're hungry, right? And you don't get what you want exactly. You might get something to eat, but it does not satisfy you, even though you're no longer hungry. You're just not satisfied, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times it could be dissatisfaction, and some other things, but the ultimate part of it is the fact that I want that particular thing met how I want it, and if it's not met that way, then I'm going to seek other ways for it to be met. Now, the problem with that is sometimes we have unrealistic expectations of the people with whom we are with.
Okay.
Because I can give it to you, but because I'm not give it to you like you like it, then I bet I may never bother give you, or we need to work harder to give it to you how you like it, or we need to come up with something else, or there'll always be some deficiency because you don't feel like your need is being met.
Okay.
So in order to identify your need, you guys have to talk about it. If you don't like it a certain way, you need to talk about that. If you want it a certain way, you need to talk about that. Just to say that I want this without an explanation or definition or some kind of communication about what that looks like or how, then you might get anything and you're not satisfied because that's not really what you wanted. Is that making sense?
Yes. It's making a lot of sense. Yes. Making a lot of sense.
Yeah. But as far as the sin nature part is concerned, if we don't put that on the wraps, and that's where the God factor comes in, and everything that we can talk about, I'll always go back to that, because I really believe that that is the foundation of where our success begins, where it comes from, and our success not just in marriage, but our success in our finances, our success in our relationships, the platonic ones, the biological ones. Our success, that's where our success begins. And so everything else that doesn't have that in there, it's not that you can be successful later, but it won't last. And what we're looking for is for things to be lasting, for them to be impactful for the better. My marriage relationship with my husband is supposed to make an impact in yours for the better. I'm supposed to be a demonstration, an example of what a wife or what a husband is. Yours likewise for you, you know, but I have to be fixing me with Jesus so that I can be better for him and likewise him for me. So there are some things that can be done, and things that can help, but we have to be going back to the foundation of stuff to find out what, who, when, where, how, why.
Yes, I get that. When you said earlier on that when we don't get what we want, and so we try to get that other thing. The question is though, you know that there's some men and some women that's in a situation like that, that's stalemated for 20, 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And so you ask yourself, when will that kind of situation normalize?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that is just breeding ground for the side chick.
It is. You know, for me, I have a serious problem with infidelity and stuff like that. I do. The problem with that scenario is that when you have that kind of mindset, then it is an option for a side chick. But when you are looking for ways, and it doesn't mean that you're not trying, it just means that you're not giving up.
Right.
I got you.
Right.
And so when you're looking for ways to make it better, or to make adjustments, or to undo some of the things that kind of brought you to this place, I think that you too, the husband too, you have to be looking at, okay, what can I do, or what have I done, or how did we get there? That there is still a role that the other person plays. There's still a role that the person who is thinking about this side chick plays. And if you're not doing that introspection, then it would seem like it's just the other person not fulfilling. But are you fulfilling their need? Why is it that they don't want to have sex with you?
Right.
Oh,
It sounds like a question
sound
to
like
you,
a
right?
question to me. But I do understand. Yes.
I'm just saying, you know, you asked me the question, so,
I do understand.
DJ, there's a big up DJ Kevin.
Bless him.
There's a question, and Kevin says, why can't it just be that we're designed to not just be with one person?
Mm-hmm.
By whose design are we talking about exactly?
So DJ Kevin, whose design?
Right. Well, just take it on face. Just take it on face, Pastor Marsha. What you think about that?
He also asks, if the spouse knows about someone else, is that still infidelity?
Are you ready for that, Pastor?
Wasn't that easy?
That's what Kevin is asking.
That's what Kevin is asking.
All right, so hold on. So the first question is talking about the design, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We are God's creation. He created us in His image and His likeness, and He said that it is one wife for one husband for one wife. He never said when you leave your house you must go cleave to enough woman. He said you must cleave to your wife, not wives. So it's not polygamy, and it's not, I don't care how things have become misconstrued. Foundationally speaking, this is what he said.
Right.
And that's what we go based on. And so I do not believe that his intent, the original intent, was for us to have more than one. We were not designed that way.
Okay. An aside to what you just said, or to what DJ Kevin Stew asked, and you talked about polygamy. Are you aware that in Uganda, recently, I don't know if it was a pastor or a politician that came out and was requiring the government to allow men to marry more than one woman, because
soon it will be for them to marry more than one man.
because there's a lack of men, and what has been happening in Uganda is that the we had the side chick thing was a big problem there. So now they're trying to figure out whether or not it should be that they allow polygamy to take place in that society. This side chick thing is way beyond what
Well, I mean, a lot of those things are tribal, you understand?
Yeah,
and I'm not, from a biblical standpoint, that is my governance. Okay? But from a biblical standpoint, we have rules and guidelines. Every place have something that governs them. Every country, every tribe, they all have something that governs them. But as believers, based on His Word, that is what we're using as our map on how do we do this. How do I deal with this woman who is a cantankerous woman? How do I deal with this man who is insensitive to my feelings and does not understand how I'm feeling and what I'm going through? How do I forgive when they stepped out with a side chick but now they want to come back and reconcile? How do I, the Word gives us the help that we need so that we can make these things happen. We have people like Hosea, who is a great demonstration of that after this woman him take her in. Now, granted, he knew all about her, and she was a harlot anyway, doing her thing, but she step out, she go, him go back and him retrieve her, and demonstrate the love of God over and over and over and over again. Him look like an idiot for the greater good. Yes. So there is so much in the process of us becoming and for us to fulfill the mandate here on this earth that it requires for us to get a different mindset. Because anyhow, we were in church yesterday, and our apostle was talking, and she said, you know, that would you allow, like Abraham, would you allow your husband to tell anybody else that you are his sister?
Okay.
And I said to her, no, I will not. And I turned to him and I told him, I said, I will never be your sister. I will always be your wife. Because I'm not looking for you to step out, and I am going to do whatever I have to do to try to make sure that I'm keeping you. You understand?
Right,
but before, Quelly, you were talking about a particular thing, and I was saying that what is it that you have done that have brought us to this place? Why you are in the position to be thinking that maybe you should get a side chick? Is it something that you have done as well? Like, both parts have to be looking at themselves to figure out, how did we get here?
Gotcha. Yeah. Makes sense. We have a lot of questions flying around.
Alexis says, he who findeth a wife, not several wives.
All right.
So DJ Kevin Stew
right.
also says, so King Solomon was not aligned with, no. Yeah, yes. So he's asking if King Solomon wasn't aligned with God.
Listen, at one point he was, and then there are another points when he didn't. He was not. He stepped out.
Concur.
When God covers us, he covers us all the way. But there are times when we step out of what he has designed for us to do, and how. Him never tell him for go take up all of them women there. Enough problem that. Oh, I mean, come on, step back for a second. We as women are absolutely unique creatures. And we come with a lot of nuances. God created us so. And many of us, because we are carriers, we all carry things we're not supposed to carry. Now, why on God's green earth do you want to go and pick up more than one at a time? Why would you even want... DJ, you don't want to put yourself under that struggle there. And I'm just saying.
Right. Let's see if there's any other questions in the chat. But Pastor Marsha, scroll back up to the second question from Kevin Stew. Kevin Stew asks, no, this one.
Infidelity?
Yeah, right. Kevin Stew asks, if the spouse knows about someone else,
is
that still infidelity?
Yes, the act is, it's not your knowledge of something that makes it what it is. It's the act. It's what has been done, what has been committed that gives it its identity. So whether you know or you don't know, it's still that. Why? Because when I have committed to you as my spouse and I decide to step out on you, I have done something that goes against our covenant, right?
Yeah.
That makes it an infidelity situation. I am an infidel. I have stepped out and I have gone to do this thing. Whether you agree with it or don't agree, it happened. And whether you know about it or you don't know about it or you know about the person, it still is what it is.
All right.
Is that what you're asking?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And on the Solomon question, eventually Solomon found out that all of that thing was just vanity and vexation of spirit anyway. So I concur with you on that one.
Yes. And I him saying one time about the cantankerous woman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's Pastor Marshall with Pastor Help Me right here on the My Source Gospel Reggae Show. So I'm gonna play a couple songs and we'll be right back with Pastor Marshall. In the background, it's the sound of Samuel Meadows with Royalty. My father is king, so I am royalty. Up next, we've got a man called DJ Nicholas with Heart Look Ugly.
We make fi say anything and just love lava lava. Many will say that I love you and need you. The truth is, I just more chatter. Use a microscope and take a look in at them heart. You would realize it don't really matter. Judas eat with Jesus, but check the scriptures. Him same one was the back. No matter, tell me with your mouth you love me. Show me with your heart you love me. No matter, tell me with your mouth you love me. Your mouth sound pretty, but your heart you love me. No matter, tell me with your mouth you love me. Show me with your life you love me. No matter, tell me with your mouth you love me. Cause your mouth sound pretty, but your heart you ugly. Hear me now. Many will say that I love you and need you and don't really mean it. Them wouldn't mind and them buy the house from the hill then. Higher you fi clean it. Hear me now. Me never know you woulda do me so bad. Even if me did dream it, would you believe that you disappoint me so much unless my two eyes are seen it? No matter, tell me with your mouth you love me. Show me with your heart you love me. No matter, tell me with your mouth you love me. Your mouth sound pretty, but your heart look ugly. No matter, tell me with your mouth you love me. Show me with your life you love me. No matter, tell me with your mouth you love me. Cause your mouth sound pretty, but your heart look ugly. If I don't genuine love, then me don't need it. Don't tell me you love me if you don't mean it. If I really love me, should I feel it? Me should I feel it? Me should I feel it? If I not genuine love, then me don't need it. Don't tell me you love me if you don't mean it. If I really love me, should I feel it? Feel it. No matter, tell me with your mouth you love me. Show me with your heart you love me. No matter, tell me with your mouth you love me. Your mouth sound pretty, but your heart look ugly. No matter, tell me with your mouth you love me. Show me with your life you love me. No matter, tell me with your mouth you love me. Cause your mouth sound pretty, but your heart look ugly. I had a good father. Him pass away a couple years now. That man never tell me, son, I love you with his mouth. I can't remember that. But I remember one day some police called me out of the house and him stand up in front of me. In case anything go wrong, him would have be in a that place of danger. That man never tell me yet, son, I love you with his mouth. But him tell me many times, say him love me with him heart. Nobody tell me with your
DJ Nicholas right here on the My Source Gospel Reggae Show. So we've got another question. Joy Nelson says, Pastor, how do you know when to walk away from the marriage if you find out he does have a side chick?
That he does, or when you heard of it, but you weren't sure, but you got a PI and them check it out and then come back and tell you it's true. I don't think that now that you've heard of it, you walk away.
Okay.
I think that ultimately you must try to reconcile.
Okay.
You must try to reconcile. You must work on forgiving. You must work on those things. You have to exhaust it and not be quick to run. It is a matter of being betrayed. It is a matter of trust being ripped away. It is a matter of hurt and pain in your heart, feeling like it's breaking. It is a matter of those things. So I don't want to downplay that or anything of the sort. And I have been there before where our relationship came to a place of jeopardy. All relationships kind of go through something that can tear them apart and make them want to walk their separate ways. But you don't quickly jump to it like you was just waiting to find out if it was true so you could be out of there. Like, what's your motive? Do you really love this person? Do you want to work it out? So you want to work to reconcile. That's your first thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if that's not the case, and one person is just, look, I'm done with you, whatever the case may be, and you're trying and you're trying and you're trying, and I'll even add, how about if they start to become abusive or to treat you like crap or all of that other stuff, then there does come a time where you have to separate, right? You separate for safety. You separate for safety. And in the process of separating, you want to work on trying to see, okay, maybe we can do some counseling, maybe we can, that type of thing. After you have tried everything and you've exhausted all options and the heart remains hard, that's when you go, okay. Because you can't force people to love you.
Right.
Can't force people to love you. Even God does not force himself on us. He has demonstrated the greatest love of all, and he still gives us an option to come and be in fellowship with him or to walk away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Melody Dinkins says, the tribe of Israel is the result of one man having multiple wives. God blessed those unions and made them flourish. So where does the Bible state there is only to be one?
Okay, you want me to answer that, Pastor? You go ahead, Pastor. It's your show.
It's my show, but what I want to do, and questions like this, I want to make sure that I have topical biblical references.
Yes.
I'm actually opening up so I can make sure that I'm quoting properly. I don't want to add or take away from.
Right.
So if we could pause on that question so I could look up and come back with the word itself, that's what I would prefer to do. Off the top, it still goes back to the original intent of God. As I said before, when God says something, it does not mean that he's going to alter or change his mind. However, in the middle of the way, things happen. And as things happen, he will allow, and in the allowance, the full circle comes right back. For an example, his word talks about Israel being his people, right? And Israel was also a pain in the butt. Israel was a complaining people. Israel stressed him out. Israel act like he didn't do anything for them. Israel treat him bad. Them talk bad about him. They did all of these things, but he never changed from his covenant. He never changed his initial promise just because of those things. So along the way, there are a lot of things where you saw polygamy, where you saw husband and saw incest. You saw all of these different things that took place along the way, but it did not change his original intent, where he said that we are to be with one and one wife, one husband, one wife. Please to your wife. It still did not change that.
Right. Can I say something, Pastor?
You can always,
for
of course, it's
yes.
all of us here together.
All right. In the Bible, referencing the Bible, Jesus was confronted by the scribes and the Pharisees, and they asked him, I think the question was, whose wife will it be in heaven if when a brother die and didn't make, or is it right to divorce for your wife for everything? That's what the question was. Is it right to divorce your wife for anything? And
it talks about when your heart is hard.
Yes, he said because of the hardening of your heart, Moses created divorce, that situation for you. But from the beginning, God didn't make it like that. That's what he said. He said from the beginning, God says, a man shall leave his mother and his father and cleave unto his wife, and they shall become one flesh.
One. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and so he did not endorse anything polygamous. I must concur. What he was saying is that from the beginning and
to the original intent.
From the original intent, God made it so, but because of your hardness of your heart,
that's right.
This had to happen. So
right.
just trying to assist Melody with that.
Yes.
Right.
DJ Kevin also said, you mentioned the covenant. Is the covenant null and void if it involves others?
I don't understand. What
I
do you
think
mean
he's talking about the covenant, the marriage, the marriage part. It must be
the covenant of marriage. So if it involves
yes.
others, is the covenant
void? Yes.
If it involves, I'm still not following.
Okay.
Break it down for me.
All right. It seems like Kevin is asking if someone cheats or have a side chick and it is found out, is the covenant null and void?
No, it's still not null and void.
Okay.
You guys are still married. Something has occurred. For an example, I am a believer, but if I commit a sin, I am not a believer. I'm still a believer, but I have fallen.
Okay.
So the option for restoration, for repentance, all of those things are now supposed to take place after that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie says,
but it just doesn't, because sometimes I think that sometimes people are looking for a way out, especially when they come to the place where they're like, you know what, boy, I can't believe this, how much years, and it's not working. I'm trying everything, and maybe we have fallen out of love or whatever,
Right.
and so the first thing that comes up that seems to be something they can use as a valid reason is what they jump on, and that's not necessarily always the case.
Okay. All right.
Stephen says, God respecting our free will does not change
his nature. I got you. That one is a big speech right there.
Yes.
Just because God allow you the freedom to do your will thing, it doesn't mean that his thing has changed.
It does not change his mind. Once again, it does not change his mind. Once he has spoken, he does not go back on that. What he's spoken is what it is.
Alexis says, when you have tried all you can, then is it then okay to walk away, or do you stay in it and fight more? I think you addressed that earlier.
Yeah, we did talk about that earlier, but it's your motives, right? We know our motives, and we have to make sure that we check ourselves.
Okay.
And we need to make sure that we're on the same page with each other before we make any decisions. Ultimately, also, find out what the Lord wants for you. Hosea could have certainly left. It wasn't even like one time that she dipped out. She dipped out a couple of times and he had to go and retrieve her. It's not even like he sat home and waited. He literally had to go out and pull her out the bed and be like, come back home. Like, that's crazy stuff right there. But it's just to demonstrate the extent to which God loves us, and we know some modern day ones as well.
But Pastor, what if somebody challenge you and say that story about Jabez there and his wife and that kind of stuff is a metaphor for how God loved Israel, that he would go back and forth for it. But, What if somebody challenged that? In addition to that, though, back to what Kevin Stewart asked earlier on about the breaking of the covenant. Let me extend that a little bit more. So, for example, if, say, all right, let me say me then. Say me have a side chick out there and my wife find out, right? She free for left me now, not you?
She might be afraid. She might want to find out. She might want to kill you and not leave you.
Because I understand. I looked a little deeper in what Kevin was asking. Because kind of like that is one of the reasons for divorce. If you find out that you one and only is cheating on you. You know?
If you find out, you're saying that if you find out, for an example, my husband and I, and then I find out that he's cheating on me, that I have the authority to walk away and leave.
Yes, that's how you go.
And to be divorced, I beg to disagree.
Oh.
I beg to disagree. I don't think that it stops there. I think that God is always about reconciliation first.
Which he said.
That you must try first. If after you have done all you can, then you can say that. Because the heart of the person is hard.
Right.
That means they're not in it, they don't want to hear it, they're not going to whatever, then you are released.
All right.
Okay.
DJ
but
Kevin.
not because somebody go and do something. Like I said before, we all sin. It's just that. That is what has happened.
Right.
We've fallen, and this is what it looks like. This particular one is called this. Infidelity.
Okay.
And what do I do after that?
Yes, Melody, that is true. Melody Dinkin says Hosea's marriage was just that. A picture of God's love towards Israel. All right, Kevin Stew has the next one there, Murphy.
He says, so are we designed to only love one person?
No, we are not designed to only love one person. We are designed to love everybody. Love my brothers, my sister. That's why you can love your mother, you can love your father, you can love. We are designed to love. And we are designed to be loved.
Right.
But as for your wife, you must only have one wife, one husband.
Okay. So we have about 8 minutes to go on
This
the Pastor Help Me segment. So, Pastor, what are some of the things that people can implement to, to help stop the side chick business?
Other than making sure the pumpkin pie is given anytime the husband say I want it.
Right.
Deacon,
sometimes it does not work that way. Sometimes the pie needs to be reheated and it takes time.
Okay.
Sometimes, understanding the person with whom you are with is important. Not all the time when you want it, you're going to get it. For somebody who is going through menopause, and this is just an example, someone who is going through menopause, they not all of them have the same side effects, but many of them do. Sex drive is completely lost. And people start having menopause earlier than they used to. So just as an example, how you have to pay attention to the person with whom you're with and where they are, what is going on with them at that time. Also, if you're married and you've been married for a long time, sometimes things can go stale. A problem is that sometimes we want it the way it used to be in the earlier years, and you're not in that place anymore. We evolve with time. Life happens to us. We get beat down a little bit. We've gotten older. Things don't stand up like they used to. The perky D's are no longer perky. They have length to them. Your belly ain't flat no more. You need to pull it up. Some of us can't see past the belly because it's, there's so many different things that are going on with us. Hormones are all over the place. Hair, balls. Oh, not, you understand, right, Deacon? But these things happen. These things These things happen to us. Our bodies are going through so many different things. So we have to pay attention to where our spouses are, what's going on with them, so that we can meet their needs effectively and efficiently. Sometimes we have impractical expectations of a person, and communication helps us to be able to be truthful with what I want now. I used to like tea, but I don't like tea anymore. Tea makes me nauseous. Now I like coffee. I need caffeine to stay awake. Before, my color was green. Now it's not green. Now it's black. But you're still buying me green underwear. I don't like green. I want black. But because you're not talking to me, you're going based on what you used to know about me.
Right.
Okay.
And not knowing about what I am now or what's going on with me now. Sometimes we operate on the old when there is something new right in front of us, and we can miss that. So communication, identifying what the problem is important. Talking about your expectations. We are now 50. Do you still want to have sex every night? You know, or maybe we have to cut it down. My body can't handle it like I used to. Or maybe you want it a couple days in a day, a couple times in one day. You have to be talking about these things as husbands and wives so that I am meeting your need. You like it rough? No. Maybe you like it slow. Maybe you like it this, or you like it. You want me to pull your hair, or you want me to tap your face, or it sounds ridiculous, but these are
sense.
the things
Yes.
that we have to communicate
Communicate,
about all
right.
of it. About all of it, so that we can, both of us must have orgasmic explosions, not just you and not just me, or else I am going to feel unsatisfied.
Right.
You understand? So the two of us must reach Jesus together. Hallelujah.
Camille says we have to reevaluate as the relationship evolves.
Definitely. Reevaluate is good. Self-evaluation and the couple evaluation, so that there's no one pointing any fingers. You're also checking you. What can I do to make my relationship better? How can I be a better wife? How can I be a better husband? How can I meet the needs? I'm realizing that this is where she is now. We talked about it, and now I know, okay, what do I need to do? If we could focus more on ourselves and less on the other person, we would be surprised of the impact that we can make that can help us to go forward.
Yes.
All right, so by the time a guy get a side chick, the horse gone through the gate then. Because a lot of work I forget done before that.
Oh, listen to me. Staying married is the hard part, man. Getting married is easy.
Right.
Gotcha. All right.
Yes, Pastor. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you so much.
So, how can people with questions or issues get in contact with you?
Okay, if they have questions, which would be great that you would send your questions in, you can email your questions to pastorhelpme@gmail.com.
Okay. Alrighty.
Pastorhelpme. I'll try to type that in so that people can see it.
that.
But it's pastorhelpme@gmail.com, and then it will be able to kind of pick up the next week. And if you have other topics that you would like to talk about, we can definitely, you can send them in as well, and then we can take a look at that and try to get to everyone's questions and everyone's topic.
All right.
Alrighty. All right, Pastor. Thank you so
bless you.
much.
Thank you so much. Bless up. God bless you guys.
All right.
Thank you, everybody, for joining in tonight.
Alrighty. Yes, that was Pastor Marsha with Pastor Help Me.
I like how she ball out the ball head though.
You don't like that part.
No.
You felt
We
that.
feel like she plays too.
Easy, Want to say big up to Brazil. Brazil is
He's in the
inside
house,
the building.
Man.
Want to say big up to Ruel Cruz. Remember, send your questions, your concerns, your real issues, whatever is bothering you. Send it to pastorhelpme@gmail.com. And we can discuss it right here on Pastor Help Me on the My Source Gospel Reggae Show every Monday at 8 p.m. Want to say big up to Belize. Belize is inside the building.
Sir.
Big up to Belize. All right. So we've got a couple more songs to go, and then we're out of here. See you on Saturday.
Yeah.
From 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
We drop it differently.
Yeah, man. Remember, we've got the Hot or Not segment.
Yeah.
Where you decide what we put in rotation.
That's right.
So join us on Saturdays from 3 to 5 p.m. right here on the My Source Gospel Reggae Show.
This is the My Source Gospel Reggae Show.
Well, look at you now.
This is the man called Jaron Nurse. And this one is Watch What Jesus Do. Want to say thanks to everybody that tuned in. Thank you, Pastor Marsha. Thank you for the questions.
I took the ball head personally.
Quelly took the ball head personally. Me tell you, say, me have a product we can help you, you know, but you know, I tell me say,
goodness,
there's no help.
There's no help for me.
So we will be on with Pastor Help Me. That's going to be a segment on Mondays at 8 p.m. Go ahead and go over to YouTube and search My Source Gospel Reggae Show. You'll see Murphy Productions page, and go ahead, like and subscribe so that you can see when we are live. We also will be live via Facebook, so you can choose the platform that you're more comfortable with. All right, so this is the time that we say
walk
no,
good.
well, that was that there. So we
walk good.
Yeah, you walk good, but we have to find something.
Well, I say walk good.
Yeah, you say walk good still. All right. So this is the time that we say walk good.
Yeah.
Walk good. Thank you for everyone that tuned in, everyone that chimed in, had their questions, concerns, whatever it may be. See you on Saturday. At 3 to 5 p.m. Until then, I want to say I love you, we love you, and God bless you.